The fight to close the wage gap is a struggle as old as time, and in recent years it has become a far more mainstream issue. The U.S. women's soccer team just had a major win in this area. Today, we'll take a look at the historic achievement and what it took to get there. Let's get into it. Starting with the iconic 2019 win. The U.S. women's soccer team won the World Cup in 2019, and it was more than just winning a match. As if winning the World Cup for the second consecutive time isn't big enough in itself, but what happened in the Parc Olympique Lyonnais sparked a movement that few wins before it could match. Historically, the women's team has been paid much less than its male franchises and has been treated almost as disposable. Terrible travel and hotel conditions, subpar fields, and a lack of the bonuses being awarded to the men's team. Soccer has always been a boys' game, and this just goes to show how true that was. The age-old injustice resurfaces. Women have always been paid less for doing a better job. So it came as no surprise that from Lyon to New York City, fans of the team filled the stadium and lined the streets, all united to chant in favor of equal pay for both men's and women's teams. Up next, the team takes action. Earlier in 2019, the soccer team filed a lawsuit against U.S. Soccer based on accusations of gender discrimination. The team's biggest stars, including Alex Morgan and Megan Rapinoe, were named plaintiffs in the case, and they bore an ugly truth. Their team members were paid less for friendly matches, making the World Cup roster and even their performance at the World Cup. To put that in context, the women's team has won 4 times. The men's team, 0. For a team that brought in $1 million more than the men from 2016 to 2018, the difference was shocking. And now, equal pay. Finally, the issue has now been highly publicized for years. Turns out World Cup wins bring in a lot of attention, and attention brings change. On Wednesday, May 18th, 2022, the fans shouted equal pay in France, and they finally got their wish. The United States Soccer Federation announced that they would guarantee that soccer players in both the men's and women's national teams would receive the same pay when competing at the international level. On top of this, the deals include a provision that will allow the unequal prize money received from FIFA for World Cup participation to be pooled. Starting from the men's World Cup in 2022 and the women's in 2023, the money will be split equally among members of both teams. The deal is truly historic, and the United States is the first country to take this step. With the pooling and splitting of the money, the teams are set to share about $20 million starting next year. The national teams displayed true camaraderie. Last year, the men's team set the ball rolling on this deal when they privately decided to share the money they received from World Cup bonuses with the women's team by pooling it with the much smaller amount the women received. Wednesday's agreements are definitely a victory, but they're a victory that should have been achieved many years ago. For over 6 years, the team has been battling courts of law and the opinions of the general population, including the former president of the United States, Donald Trump, who shot at Rapinoe on Twitter in 2019. The 2019 win seems to have given the movement the last push it needed, and the push was big. Team USA had become a worldwide sensation. The team's jerseys became the highest selling in Nike's history, and viewership of the tournament more than doubled to 1.12 billion viewers. 4 players on the team were even yellow-carded for excessive celebration as they tore off their shirts to reveal shirts that screamed #EqualPay. 3 years on, that hashtag is a reality. The commitment to fairness has been carefully calculated, with millions of extra dollars to be received by the best players across both teams, allowing the women's team to enjoy the same privilege the men's team is used to. It won't be cheap. U.S. Soccer has announced that all players will receive $18,000 each per game, going up to $24,000 per player for major events. In another groundbreaking decision, the federation will only keep 10% of the money it receives from FIFA for the World Cup, with 90% going where it's meant to go, the team members. We've got to give it to the men's team for being good sports, as they'll now receive considerably less than the millions they were previously getting. But after years of disproportionate payments, we think it's perfectly acceptable. For example, the 24 women's teams at 2019's World Cup split a pool of $30 million. The 32 men's teams competing in 2022 will split $450 million. It's clearly been way too long and way too unfair. The deal is a win for everyone, as it puts an end to 6 years of damage to the federation's reputation, strain on sponsorships, and millions in legal fees. The team can now rest assured that the only differences in pay will come from factors like injuries and the number of games played, not gender. Payday might also come much sooner for the ladies on Team USA. A $24 million settlement was reached in February of 2022, contingent on this very deal being settled. All in all, this deal paves the way for equal pay for female athletes worldwide. And who knows, knows? Maybe one day we'll come to live in a world where the wage gap will be non-existent. Next, in other related news, the latest on Qatar 2022. With the season having just ended, the next biggest event in soccer will be the FIFA Men's World Cup in November. World Cup in November sounds weird, but with Qatar's blistering summer heat posing a problem, the tournament has been moved to the winter months. This means most professional leagues in Europe, like the Premier League, will pause for 6 weeks as 32 national teams battle it out. So far, Qatar's hosting responsibility has been mired in controversy, with accusations ranging from paying FIFA committee members to win the bid to host and the size of the state to the exploitation of migrant workers and intolerance of LGBTQ fans and players. However, with Qatar's $100 billion investment into the construction of 7 new stadiums, we can be pretty sure that despite it all, the World Cup will happen in Qatar. They'll pass the responsibility to joint hosts like the United States, Canada, and Mexico in 2026. However, there still seems to be uncertainty in the last 6 months before Senegal and the Netherlands will face each other at the Al Thumama Stadium. Qatar is barely the size of Connecticut, and the capacity of 3 million seats for the tournament is almost a match for Qatar's entire population. This, combined with strict alcohol consumption and homosexuality laws in the state, have affected ticket sales. Currently, only about 800,000 tickets have been sold to fans. What will actually happen at soccer's biggest event remains to be seen. Next, Lionel Messi exits from Barcelona. In possibly the biggest shocker in recent international soccer history, Lionel Messi made an exit from Barcelona, the club he's been with for 21 years. The 6-time Ballon d'Or winner made headlines with his historic transfer to Paris Saint-Germain, joining Neymar and Kylian Mbappe, both exceptional in their own right. And finally, the past year as told by International Soccer. Whether you say soccer or football, the last season has been exciting for every fan of the sport. On Saturday, May 28th, Real Madrid beat Liverpool in the Champions League final at the Stade de France in Paris, making it a record 14th win for the club. The days leading up to the final whistle and the hoisting of the trophy were a roller coaster for fans worldwide, and most had their money on Liverpool. With both teams playing at par until the end, a single goal stood to tip the match in either team's favor. 15 minutes into the second half, a goal by Vinicius Jr. threw Real Madrid into the lead, with the team's defense maintaining it. Before the match, a crowd of English fans attempting to enter the stadium was pepper sprayed and tear gassed by riot police, which may well have been a bad omen for Liverpool. Overall, the match was a full-circle moment for the victors, as Madrid won their first Champions League also in Paris 66 years prior. Jose Mourinho, the current manager of AS Roma, became the second manager in history to win 5 European titles as Roma won the inaugural Europa Conference League, beating Feyenoord 1-0. He now has the Champions League, Europa League, and the UEFA Cup under his belt, coaching Porto, Inter Milan, Manchester United, and Roma since 2003. AC Milan won their first title in Series A after an 11-year gap, and club manager Stefano Pioli said that he used late NBA legend Kobe Bryant as inspiration for his players. Bryant was a lifelong Milan supporter before his tragic death in a helicopter crash with his daughter Gianna in 2020. Yep, we shed a tear too. It's definitely been an emotionally turbulent season, but we're already gearing up for the next. That's a wrap for this video. Want more updates on the upcoming World Cup? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.